There's a revolution. Scroll stoppers, good morning. Not staying long, just going to say hi. Just woke up this morning, 5:30, Masterclass in bed. Shh, don't tell anyone. And then got up and thought, well, I must make a coffee. Oh, there's another Masterclass. Oh, great. Jumped in the spa and now covered up again. And yeah, it was dark and the sun came up and it was quite an amazing start to my day. So design the life you want to lead. I just made that up, didn't do that before, and I just feel great. It's a beautiful day. I think it's going to be a beautiful day in New Zealand here, in Auckland. Probably shouldn't do that. And I have a message for you guys, which is thank you. Thank you so much. I am very much enjoying interacting with you team in this group, and it's just been interesting. It's been a joy. I like doing it. I like helping people. Probably do talk a lot. Sorry about that. Know a few things. Don't know everything at all. That's why I'm here. I'm here to learn and here to serve. And I'm Batch. If you haven't met me, I serve business owners and entrepreneurs, and I help you take easy steps of incremental improvement to improve your businesses day by day. And what happens is, over time, those steps compound into massive business progress. Progress in profits, that's probably the most important thing, because as they say in China, you can't go broke making a profit. So massive progress in profits, massive progress in efficiency, and in these tough times, that can be the way to get to larger profits. If growing revenue is difficult, then you need to grow your gross profit and keep your fixed cost and your expenses down. Everything add to a GP positive business that's covering its costs goes straight to the bottom line. That's the magic. That's when the magic starts to happen in the scale. I can talk to you about that later. So profits. Yeah. Most important thing, although that's a made up number, it's a made up concept by accountants, and you can't spend profits. I'll tell you about that another time. Massive profits. Did I say massive profits already? Did I say massive profits? Massive profits, massive improvement in efficiency, particularly for businesses that employ a lot of labour. Just take the hourly rates of the 4 guys that work for you, and imagine they spend a quarter of an hour just in the car park just chewing the fat on the way out, and a quarter of an hour not working at lunchtime extra, and then half an hour on the way home. That's an hour's lost. Multiply it by 4, multiply it by 5 days a week, multiply it by 48 weeks a year, multiply that by their average hourly rate, and just just a little extra cigarette break, which I don't smoke, but just muck it around. And yeah, it's costing you big money. That number, whatever that number was, and now multiply that by the number of staff. I had 30 staff, I've had 300 staff, 30 staff in my last business. Those get to be big numbers. And that's the number you could take home as a business owner, but you're not, because you're not efficient. That's just in marshalling, that's just like in saying, go! 3, 2, 1, go! And that could be because you're not efficiently communicating with people. It could be because they don't know what to do. It could be because all sorts of reasons that don't relate to them being a bad person. And they may be a bad person. Well, not a bad person, but they may be just don't even care, don't even think about it. They don't think it's. In fact, they quite like to stand around for 15 minutes and get paid for it. But I do too, actually. I like to make money while I sleep. That's my favourite thing of all. That's a key criteria of any business I go into. So yeah, think about that. Think about efficiency. And that turns into massive GP. And I could look at any business. I could look at the profit and loss of any business for a year, month on month, and totals, and year on year. And I can tell you whether you're getting more efficient or less efficient from that. And I have had almost a stand-up, not row, but a strong discussion with a client in the last little while He said, I've never met all his staff, and I didn't watch them work in the field, so how on earth could I know how he was taking like a value judgment? My guys are good guys, and you're saying they're bad guys by saying they're inefficient. But what I was doing was benchmarking, measuring, setting expectations, knowing how your machine works, knowing how your business works, setting expectations, knowing how long a job should take when you cost it, quote it, whether that's cleaning a house. I was talking to someone about cleaning their houses, because I'm helping people of all kinds of shapes and sizes. Those businesses of that size, you need to be in my free program in the Business Secrets group, where I can help you and not charge you anything. And then, but it also efficiency applies to a business that's employing, especially if it's employing 30, 40, 50, 100 men or women, people. I'm saying men because I've been used to running the scaffolding business in my last business. So, but men or women. If you've got a staff member that comes in and I had a contractor that just come into the office, and she's very social and lovely, and it was nice. But she would talk about her dog and the movies that she saw last night, and what she was doing on the weekend. We had a lot of talk about what concert she was going to next. And by the way, she was treating my office like a cafe. Get a cup of tea. She'd work and she'd talk, and she'd work and talk, and she was interrupting every other single person in this little office, and it was highly inefficient. And I took that, but when I took the business over and when I acquired it, she was part of the business, and she was doing an integral job, and I liked her, and I didn't have anything against her or anything like that. She's just lovely. And I worked through the business improving efficiency until I got down to her, until I got through months. It was almost 2 years before I got to thinking about, can I improve this part of the business? When her price, she was a contractor, and her cost on my expense P&L kept increasing week on week. And I was paying attention. I was looking at the expenses and thinking, well, that one's going up. Why is that one going up? Am I getting better service? No. In fact, we were getting busier, and because of the outdated systems that we were using internally, so it wasn't entirely her fault. In fact, it wasn't her fault to start with. She was having to do a lot of manual effort just for us to do invoicing. I won't bore you with why that was. Switched to Xero, but it was to do with tying two systems together, and we had a operation system that was had some limitations. Anyway, improve what you can step by step. So eventually we were able to replace the operating system, and that enabled us to connect it to Xero, which is the world leading online accounting package from New Zealand, now in Australia and US and UK and all over the place. Highly recommended. Beautiful package for small and medium sized businesses. We're a business turning over $4 million a year. Some months we turn over 400 grand, $400,000 a month, some months. And we're a busy little company, 30 people plus contractors, 100 standing projects. Means every night we had 100 jobs erected, we would say, and rented, paying me, making money while I sleep. Anyway, so we got busier and busier, and my contractor got messier and messier, and I asked her for reporting, and she couldn't give it to me. I said, where's the piece of paper for that? What's the answer to this? And she said, I can't find the piece of paper. Oh, I've got the piece of paper here somewhere. And she'd be looking in a big pile of pieces of paper, and then she'd go away and take an hour a day. And it was stuff I should just be able to say, what did we pay Joe Bloggs last week? And she just couldn't. Well, she could look up the number, but what was the detail on the invoice? She couldn't find it. And so we switched to Xero. That's not a plug for Xero, that's a very good system. I don't make anything out of talking about it. And then I like to work with award-winning or world-class people, because, to be immodest, I am a world-class business problem solver. I'm a world-class negotiator. I'm a world-class lawyer. Don't tell anyone. I'm a world-class business operator, And I've worked in businesses all the way up to billion-dollar businesses. But my sort of sweet spot is a million, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, under 100. So up to 100. Maybe I shouldn't. Tony Robbins' limiting belief. If you're a billionaire listening to this, call me. Can I help you? Because when you're working with bigger numbers, you move the needle 5%, and 5% of a billion revenue is a lot of money. Those of you who've calculators, hashtag in the thingy bob. All right, and so short story is I found award-winning bookkeeping company called My 2 Cents, and they are based in a beach town up north of New Zealand, north of Auckland. A beautiful little town, and it was amazing beaches, and it just so happened, serendipitously, that's my holiday town. That's the place I like to go on my holidays with my wife and daughter, and we have done for years. And so I'm looking through the things, and they're in Mangawhai. Okay, boom, great. So I rang but I didn't just ring them. I rang or emailed, whatever I did. I reached out to 3 award-winning or leading or 5-star, providers, and I think one didn't get back to me in time, and one came back, and I didn't sound right for me, didn't gel. And then I got a call or an email, and then a call with Hayley at My 2 Cents. And she said, Batch, yeah, you're in a bit of a muddle. That's fine, take a week. And I'm like, wow, I was thinking it might take like a month. It was just it was just a mess. It was just one of those things. In the transition, I asked my contractor, could she use Xero? She said yes, she was trained on it, and she was using it in another business. But I hadn't really thought it through very well, so it's my fault. As business owner, I should have thought to myself, well, has she had much experience setting up a Xero account for a business, and then has she had experience moving a lot across a whole lot of records, last year's records and the year-to-date information, bank records and expenses and everything, porting from one system to another. And that's a very common thing. I used to be in the software business and should be able to do that pretty easily, system to system, but it's not a trivial thing for someone who doesn't know how to do it, and I think she didn't know how to do it, and so she thought she'd just muddle along instead of saying to me, and I like my team to say to me, Batch, I don't know how to do that, or Batch, do you know how to do that, or Batch, where should I go to learn how to do that, or Batch, I think we need an expert because it's a mission critical thing and we don't want to screw it up. So we screwed it up, but it didn't affect anything. We just knew it pretty quickly, and nothing broke, but we had to tidy up, sort of thing. Move systems, and here's the bottom line. I was employing a contractor in a business turning over, say, 4 million, and she was sort of mostly full-time. She'd sort of come in every day, and she had short hours one day or something, so it was sort of like 9 to 3, or I can't remember. And annualised cost was about 60,000 New Zealand dollars, which is quite up there in terms of a part-time resource. She's sort of working full-time, part-time. And once we switched over to Xero, and we used Hayley's team, who never came to our office. In fact, I've never met Hayley face to face. Hi Hayley, if you're ever watching this. love your work, you know I do. Hayley and her team, they just got connected. We connected them up, and they connected the stuff up. The stuff was connected to the bank, and they just jumped in. And within a week, everything was rocking and rolling. And then everything ran like clockwork. Like really like clockwork. Like hardly anything at all had to be done. I mean, we were producing, I don't know, I'm not sure, can't remember, because I didn't actually run the reports, but hundreds of invoices, I'm not sure. Let me think about it. Yeah, 100, let's say 150 invoices-ish, maybe 200 a month. And maybe 300 on all the little jobs. And that's not, if you set up, that's nothing. I mean, if you're a telecom company, you're sending out Vitel, one of my business relationships of the past, had 99 million customers in Vietnam, so sending them their bills out was quite a big job, I would imagine. Anyway, $60,000 cost gone, replaced with $300 a month-ish, plus or minus. Bit of money for the setup. It wasn't thousands, it was, as I recall, it was, I could be wrong, but I think it was less than 1,000. And the annualised cost of the service, do all my tax returns, GST, queries, asking us to put stuff in the right expenses, what's this for type of stuff, normal queries, but along the way, Xero and the team make rules, and in the back, behind the scenes, Hayley and the team were probably using quite the latest, greatest extra stuff for Xero, which we didn't need to know about. And what happened for me was, as a business owner, I could go log into the website, go to the dashboard, and it would tell me how much cash I had, how much cash I had coming, what I owed people, what people owed me, what was my forward projection on cash flow, what was the timing, what was the aging of my accounts, which was very good, because we had a different contracting company to manage our receivables. As soon as we sent an invoice out, the very next day, our team would call the customer and say, did you receive our invoices? Do you have any questions? So rather than wait 30 days or the time of payment and then get around to calling them a week or two later, and then they go, oh no, I didn't get your invoice. That old chestnut. So we cut that out the next day. Oh, we sent our invoices out yesterday. Did you get them? Yes. Done. Gotcha. And they just became a part of our normal business as usual practice, and as a consequence, our customers actually quite liked it, and we gave them a chance. That they thought that was an extra service of saying, look, we've done the thing, and if there's any queries, because there sometimes was, we had some variable things, and that gave us a chance to fix them up weeks before they were due to be paid, and then no one was doing last minute rushing around, and the accounts payable people and our customers were really quite pleased about that, because queries on invoices at the last minute before payment run is a pain in the butt, So there you go. Net, the costs have been rising for the contractor. It went up to $70,000 a year in the last year, and I turned it into $6,000 expense, and the efficiency of the business, mostly to do with the system we used. And I'm not ragging on the lady who was working for us. She was a nice person and really tried her best. But at that point we said, well, we don't really need this contractor anymore, and we'll give you an opportunity to seek success elsewhere while we move along. So we basically discontinued the role, and my another team member picked up the query bit, which was they were having to do that anyway, because as an accountant you don't actually know anything about the business. Whoops. I mean, you have to ask the people who did the work, or who did the quote or whatever, when there's a query. And so we got those people to do it directly with the people doing the billing. So much more efficient, loops were closed, and that effect of that efficiency gain is, what is that? What did I say? 70 minus 6. So $63,000 New Zealand dollars, and we could still buy good things with those. New Zealand dollars, 63,000 more money at the bottom line of the business, with no extra costs against them. That's just straight to profit. That saving goes straight to everything else staying the same, goes straight to net profit. And that's a pretty nice little car. That's a second-hand BMW, or they buy a pretty bloody nice holiday, around the world trip, and 5-star probably thing, 50, 60 grand. Or you could that would pay for kids' schooling, or change someone's life. And that just came from improving the business. And that's what we do, and that's what I do in coaching people. That's just one example. It's a really easy example to understand, but we laser beam your business. We understand, help you understand who your real customer is, and who your dream customers are. And I think that headphones just died, so the sound might be different. So I'm going to wrap that up. $63,000 in the back pocket, and if you are selling your business, that just added, depending on the multiple that you'd be using, $180,000 to $240,000 plus or minus to the value of your business on a sale. So in the year before you want to sell, we work on exit steps, we call it. You're trying to improve your business and tighten it up, streamline your costs to maximise your profit on exit, and you're showing a profit in the year to a purchaser of an extra $63,000. That goes straight to the bottom line, and they pay a multiple usually of that. Different ways to do, and I can tell you about that in another session. But yeah, I'm going to say I save $63,000 every year. $63,000 this year, $63,000 next year, $63,000 the year after. I can't save the $63,000 I paid out, or $70,000 I paid out the year before, because we didn't address the efficiency of that particular opportunity. But going forward, if I own the business for 10 years, that's $630,000, all other things being equal, that all the shareholders of the business would enjoy potentially in cash, in dividends or salaries, or you could invest $630,000 in assets, machines or people or whatever you need to grow your business. So, all right, I hope that's an illuminating story and gives you some insight into just a tiny thing that you could do with your business. In times of trouble where you can't improve your revenue easily, or you think you can't, actually you definitely can, you just got to call me. But if your revenue is stable and your costs are stable, your cost of goods sold is stable rather, and your gross profit is stable, all other things being equal, if you can reduce your expenses, then you're going to improve your profitability. The best place to do that is in cost of goods sold. Get revenue up and get cost of goods sold down. Increase your GP, and that's the very best way to improve your business performance. But by systematically improving everything about business, you're invigorating it. It's like renovating, and then you go through your whole business top to bottom, and when you get to the end of that, you start again. It's a constant and never-ending improvement cycle. Japanese had a word for it, which I can never remember. I want to say Kanban, but that's the boards thing. Someone put in the thing, I've forgotten. But it's the Six Sigma type of idea. I think although I've never studied that. And I learnt, I did this in my own businesses for years, but I studied it formally under Tony Robbins in the Business Mastery at his Business Mastery courses, and I did those twice in Fiji, being coached by billionaires. And you imagine if you did 10 items in your business of that nature in 1 year, 10 different things, well, that's $630,000. Let's just call it 600. It goes to the bottom line in that year, and that's improved your profitability. All those people with calculators out there, 3 times 6, maybe 4 times 6, and even in the business of 2 times 6. Those are numbers, those are tax, in New Zealand anyway, selling a business, those are tax-free capital gain numbers. I'll say that again, tax-free capital gain numbers. In your jurisdiction, might be different rules